Hey everyone, today I'm just doing this video, winging it by the way, doing this video to explain why I'm a vegetarian. So first things first, I've always been a very strong animal lover ever since I can remember. It took me, I've only been a vegetarian since the start of this year, or the end of last year, so January 1st, 2013 or December 31st, 2012. But yeah, I've always been an animal lover, and I always said, I love my meat too much. I don't think I could do it, rah rah rah. So I wasn't really strong enough to overcome it. So yeah, but like evolution now, we don't have to have meat in our diet to survive. There's everything we need is elsewhere. It can be difficult to get those things we need, as I've researched and found out the hard way. But it's still very possible, and I mean, I'm not like anorexic or anything, and after a few months of being a vegetarian, I'm still just as strong, still pushing the big weights. So yeah. So I think it all started when it started to sink in. I was probably like 9, 10 years old. When I was 10, I decided to stop eating Australian native animals because I wanted to be a vegetarian, but I just didn't feel strong enough to do it. And I kind of feel guilty about that too now. But yeah, so I decided not to eat any Australian native animals, kind of like my compromise. Cool in a way, yeah, especially for a 10-year-old. But last year, I actually started to feel really guilty when I was eating meat. Like, I guess things finally started to tick in. I feel like I've grown up a lot over the last couple of years too. Maybe I've matured more and I'm more aware of it now. But yeah, I literally eat meat and feel guilty. And then one day I just snapped. I was like, nah, that's it. I said it as a New Year's resolution so I could ease myself into the process. I stopped drinking milk and stuff. I'm not, well, at the time I wasn't a vegan. So yeah, but yeah, just little things that added up. Like one of my friends' boyfriends, he said, because I told him about I don't eat Australian native animals, period. He said, you can understand where I'm coming from, but Australian native animals, majority of them get to run free in the wild, man, get to live a good life, but then they get hunted. They're humanely killed, bullet to the head, whatever. But then there's, what are they called? Farming animals, what do you want to call it? Cows, sheep, cattle, yeah. They're brought up in a confined space, and they live in this abattoir or whatever. Anyway, they live in poor conditions compared to what a wild animal would, and they're stuck there their entire life. They're alive solely for the purpose of human enjoyment, pleasure, consumption, whatever it may be. If it's wool, meat, eggs, milk, rah rah rah, they're having a crap life, and it made perfect sense. I was like, whoa, I never thought of it like that. Honestly, if I could take it back, I would have just swapped it around. I only eaten Australian native animals at the time, I think. So yeah, that was an amazing point. Because, for example, right, like sheep, they can put the same situations as cows, and that they get exploited for their wool and their meat. Lamb, lambs are baby sheep, so they don't even get to live a full life before they get set up for human consumption. I remember last year I went to a friend's house, and one of his housemates, he sold like live sheep for whatever purpose that people might want to pet, or they might want to eat it or shave it for wool or whatever. And there was this one sheep, and I wanted to pet it. I was like, oh, and it actually ran up to me. It was literally like a dog. I don't know if it had its tongue out of its mouth, but it was excited. It was jumping around. I was scratching behind its ear, and I was getting right into it, And I was just like, oh, this guy's awesome. I'm like, whoa, sheep are awesome, just like a dog. And it is. Most animals, they all have their own personality, their own heart, their own mind, their own feelings, their own emotion. And I was just touched. Seriously, I wanted to take that sheep home if I could. Obviously, I can't because of where I live. I live in a share house, I don't have pets. But I was just blown away. Like, this guy's incredible. Like, he's not a drone. He's not some mindless thing that's just here for us to enjoy. Yeah, this is another thing. That's probably added to my guilt of eating meat, period. But I love animals. Another big thing is, over the years, I felt like a hypocrite because I would preach against animal cruelty. Like, you can't do that, that's wrong, treating dogs like shit, kicking animals, whatever. It's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. And yet, I would enjoy eating meat, stuff my face, not thinking about the fact that I'm eating something that had a life, and I could live perfectly fine without meat, and it could enjoy its life if I didn't eat it, and I can enjoy my life if I didn't eat it. It's a lot healthier as well. And yeah, so everything just sunk in more and more and more. I have a few vegetarian friends as well. Love them all. They, like, I really appreciate their influence and their guidance and them helping me with me being a vegetarian. Not a single one of them ever pressured me or hinted off for me to be a vegetarian. I think one might have said I could just not eat meat a few days a week, which is also a good thing if you want to do that. But yeah, so all these little things, they just add up, and we don't need meat to survive anymore. We do not. We can eat eggs, plant-based protein. There's nutrients somewhere. If it's not an animal, you can find it somewhere. And yeah, I think that's all it is. At the moment though, for those who are subscribed to my YouTube channel, I am trying veganism as well. I started veganism on the 11th of this month, so the 11th of the 5th, 2013. I'm going to try it for a month. I'm not guaranteed the stick for it, but so far so good. It's just like, if you do a lot of research, there's lots of cows and chickens get mistreated for their milk and eggs. I won't go into vivid explanations of all the different pros and cons to this, but yeah, there's like hatcheries and stuff. I thought, yeah, I cage-free eggs, I'm all good, but yeah, nearly every single male chicken, hen, rooster, it gets killed because they only want chickens for breeding, laying eggs, and that's wrong. You know, that is a life. It's like people are against abortion because human babies deserve to live. Well, so do animal babies. They have a life. They have a feeling. They have emotion. They run away from you when you walk towards them because humans are scary, tall mother. And yeah. So I became a vegetarian because I love animals. I want to be able to stand up for animals and not feel like a hypocrite. You're not a hypocrite if you stand up for animals. It's just, I feel to myself, if I'm stuffing my face thinking this is all good, I'm kind of like contradicting myself when I say, you know, free the whales or whatever it might be. And yeah, so that's really all I can think of. I think there's a couple of other points I wanted to add. I'll probably chuck that down in the description box when I think about it later. It's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, purely just a vegetarian because I love animals. They don't deserve... They're here for human enjoyment, human pleasure. I don't get that. But I would like to add though, I do not judge people who eat meat. I'll sit around my friends while they eat meat. It was a bit hard at first when I was trying to get rid of the meat urges, which I kind of got rid of them pretty quickly actually, but the smell, like, it's kind of like smelling cigarettes for a little while, smelling meat, yeah. But yeah, I don't judge people who eat meat. If that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. In today's society and culture, it is very hard because meat is a very big thing. But I'm very proud of myself being a vegetarian. I gained a lot of respect for myself doing that, being strong enough to finally do it. And anyone who's ever a vegetarian, I have massive respect for you. Anyone who's became a vegetarian when they're a kid or a teenager or even younger out of their pure choice, no matter what their family obligations or pressure might have been, I have so much respect for you. So yeah, I'm vegetarian purely because I love animals and we can survive without it. I do bodybuilding. Trust me, by the end of the year, I'm going to be jacked. I'm going to be jacked, vegetarian or vegan. And I'm going to prove to the world, or at least to myself, that you don't need to eat a dead animal to live a long, healthy life. And that's it. I'm not a preacher or nothing. I'm just putting a video up because I get asked this all the time. That's why I bought this awesome shirt. Don't ask me why I'm a vegetarian. Ask yourself why you're not. Usually it's the same reason I used to have. It's because I like the taste of meat, which I still do, but I don't eat it. So yeah, I'm an animal lover, and that's purely it. And now I can stand up for animals as much as I can, and hopefully I can make the transition to being a complete vegan. So yeah, cool. Thanks for watching my video.